Good afternoon, everybody. This is the Two Old Farts. My name's Chuck.
I'm looking at the 2 old farts.
And the artist of the hero of the Two Old Farts.
Got my second favorite shirt on today. Third one when I get one.
Would that be Texas State?
Texas State.
All right, we'll get you one, old man. So do you feel any older?
Not a day older. Just like it was the day before. Nothing changed. And we need to give a shout out to your sister. She had a birthday here not too long ago, too.
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
Did she do anything for her birthday?
Not that I know of. At least not with us, anyway.
You didn't get an invite either.
Then one of your granddaughters had a birthday, too.
Yes, she did. Same day as you.
Same day, yeah. So give her a shout out. I know we all sent her birthday wishes, but
Yeah, that week I was gone to California was a bad week, man. I missed my cousins. I missed a very good friend I was stationed with in the Army, whose son just graduated Air Force basic training. Didn't get to see him or get to see his son graduate. So
yeah, we really miss you at the only get together we had for Shannon and Brooke. I will tell you, that was a very fun evening. I really enjoyed see the girls talking to their cousins and to the aunt and uncle and, everybody. The good meal. And I'm going to tell you, Cassie cooks some really good ribs. I don't necessarily eat ribs out too much, except I was going to bring one home with me, but guess what? Couldn't find it.
why don't you like ribs?
Oh, I like ribs, but they can get kind of messy sometimes.
If you're from the family, does it matter?
No. I got one over there. Then when I'm about to get some more, couldn't find them.
That's like Granny's okra.
That's right. Yeah, but that's right.
Okra never survives first contact.
If you don't get that okra before you get anything else, you ain't gonna get none.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, I think I've told you all before. If I told you once, I told you 5 times. When she was cooking that okra, I would open the oven door and pull it out of in the grease, the hot grease, and eat that okra.
Yeah, she batted that stuff with cornmeal, put that grease in there, and cooked it in the oven.
Baked it in the oven like that. I've never ever seen anybody ever, 4 or since, make okra like that.
Granny can cook now. I'm gonna tell you, she had a lot of experience. Right towards the end there, her biscuits kind of weren't as good as they used to be. She'd cook them for a while, then she'd take them out and put them down and let them cook a little bit. But they were good. Her cornbread was good. She canned a lot of stuff, and she gave a lot of stuff away, and a lot of people brought stuff over to her, too.
She's just from that generation, when you had to do those kinds of things.
Yeah, and she could cook and go anything. And Uncle Ray had a green thumb, too. He could pretty much grow anything, and if it was dying, he could fix it.
Like eat with straight line?
Yeah. But, we just had his 6th anniversary of him passing away a few days ago. I really miss Uncle Ray. I miss Uncle Gene. That was a pretty sad year, but in 6 months, we went from December to August. We lost Granny, Uncle Gene, and Uncle Ray.
It sure was.
But what was nice to me, I had posted on Facebook, and all the friends from that area, Seal, and all the people who went to school with him, and also like how a lot of them responded by him and stuff like that. That was nice. It speaks volume about him and the relationship he had with everybody in Seal, Pittsview, Fort Mitchell, in that area. So Ray was a good old boy.
He was.
Yeah. So anyway, did you see that football game Saturday between Georgia Tech and Florida State?
I did.
What do you think about it?
You think everybody was thrilled about Georgia Tech? Coach Saban had the best analysis, I think, of it. He mistakenly thought Florida State was going to happen. Everything looking the way it did last year. 5 transfer players from Alabama down there. I'll tell you what. If I had never known that they had a defensive problem on Georgia Tech, I didn't see it on Saturday, did you?
No, I didn't.
That defense was in the backfield as much as I'm needed.
I tell you, it was a good game, and I personally, I wasn't surprised. Everybody Georgia Tech's one of those schools that just year in and year out, they're just kind of
Up and down.
the 6 and 7 wins, type thing. But when you underestimate them, that's when they beat you.
You know what? I think they've got the right folks down there. I think he's instilling the right mentality, and maybe the athletic director in the university is behind them. And when you got all of those things at work, you can make magic happen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and that's one thing I like about college sports and high school sports. You can talk trash all day long, but you got to produce. And if that other team's not buying into it, hell, do you get another good example was that Bernie Little League baseball
It was a
team.
good game. Man, that poor kid that had to come in and pitch at the last second.
Yeah. But
Tip of the cap to that young man. If y'all didn't see that game, that pitcher, the starting pitcher, he had some shoulder pain. And this kid, I don't know if he had pitched at all throughout the whole series. And if you'd have looked at his face, you'd have never known or seen fear on him. Because he showed no fear, this kid.
I'm just really proud of that team. I'm really proud of that Lake Murray team, too. But I think, going back to what I was going to say, I think Bernie fed into that, I think, because they did so good and won so big getting there. I think some of that played into it where you think you're not going to get beat. Because they were leading for a while there. But the other team
play the game, right?
Absolutely. Then I watched that Chinese Taipei and Lake Murray championship game. Lake Murray was down 8 innings. In the bottom 8th inning, they ended up winning that ball game 2-1. That's the kind of ball games I like to watch. And those kids, I like watching those kids play ball. That Lake Morton, they had 2 players on there. One's 5'3" and one's 5'4", okay? One weighed about 170, 173 something. The other weighed about 165, 168. Them 2 boys, they were funny. One of them did that little shuffle and a little squat type thing. When he get up, he get the bat, and it's funny.
So what was your analysis of the game, Sam?
Which one?
The Florida State Georgia Tech game. You didn't see the game.
I was not surprised. I thought it was a good game. I think Florida State went in there believing they were the better team and all that hype they had gotten last year. Because I agree with Saban and what's his name, that Florida State, the way the voting turned out last year, I think was probably pretty right.
I think they got 100%.
Yeah, so
you saw what happened against Georgia, 63-3, the largest margin of loss in college football history. All of the kids that opted out, because that's the excuse they're going to say, well, we had all these people that didn't want to play. Georgia didn't either. Georgia didn't get an invite to the CFP, and they were the number 1 team. Beginning and end, they were the wire. They were number 1. They played the whole season. And then they lost the CFP, or they lost the ACC championship game. Boom.
Yeah. And that's Saban has some good comments about that. You watched Game Day with Saban on Game Day?
I did.
I thought that was pretty good, too. I thought he did a good job. And I think the best thing that happened in Game Day was him and McAfee. Yes, sir. They added a little bit more to it. We'll find out. It's going to be interesting to see how Coach Corso fits in next week.
Well, the last couple of seasons, he's been making appearances here and there.
Right.
Certain segments he'll pop in and, and again, credit and kudos to ESPN and College Game Day for keeping him and not throwing him the ball, because he is very much beloved.
Yes, he does. I love Corso. It's going to be fun to see him interacting with Saban and McAfee. I think that's going to be, especially when they start doing their picks and stuff like that. I like Corso when he does his hat pick and all that kind of stuff. But I thought it was good. Miss Terry was in the audience there at Game Day.
Yes, she was.
I didn't know that until a little bit later on. But I thought it was good. I think it's the best thing to happen to ESPN for Game Day in a long time. I think it's going to bring some excitement, different perspective. And one thing about Coach, you always know, but he's not afraid to tell you what he thinks.
He's not paid to sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Asking him to do anything otherwise would not be who he is.
Yeah, I read one article. I think maybe it had a little bit of truth to it. Somebody asked him why he's not picking Alabama. Yeah. And somebody said something that's his way of getting them motivated.
Oh, yeah.
Not necessarily in those words or stuff like that, but
he's been cagey, but he's been very nuanced in his praise of any team.
Yeah. And
he doesn't want to give them that rat poison.
Yeah, and I think he had it right. People got to beat Georgia. You beat Georgia, I think you'll be all right. Yeah, and I went back and looked at our schedule. I circled a couple of games. We got to play Georgia in September. If we can beat Georgia, we're going to be okay. If we can stay close in that game, I think we'll be okay. But Georgia plays Clemson. That's going to be a good game right there. I think that's going to give us an idea of what Georgia has. Because Clemson's going to bring it. Dabo Swinney's going to.
Clemson's got a game too.
Exactly. Then I think the other game is Texas and Georgia. We're going to find out what Texas is made out of. And we'll see. Those are the three games I think Georgia has to worry about. It's Clemson, Alabama, and us. Depending on how they play. Because one of the things that Saban made a comment about, it's not about your record. I think there's a lot more to it than that. You know, the strength of the schedule. Yeah, and I think they're going to probably look at that stuff a little bit more this year. Also, what do you think about all the picks? Have you looked at all the picks? How do I think people? Was I know we haven't started week 1 yet, but
so it's 4 plus 1, so it's the 4 automatically get the 4 seeds for 1 through 4, which get them in the first round. So the SEC champion, the Big Ten champion, the Big 12, and who's the other conference? Big 10, ACC. Big 12, SEC.
Pac-12.
It's not 12.
Well, they got Oregon, Ole Miss, Texas, and Notre Dame in the first round. First round.
I forgot. It's the ACC. ACC, Big 10, Big 12, ACC. Those are the Power 4. And the fifth one is for, I guess, the independents.
But this is not everybody, but as a general rule, they got Georgia, Ohio State, Miami. And we'll find out pretty quick here this weekend what Miami's going to do. What they're going to be like. Arizona, Oregon, Ole Miss, Texas, Alabama, Notre Dame, Penn State, Missouri, and Liberty. I think Saban was talking about Liberty.
Sure was. Liberty was on his or somebody else's. If you would.
I was looking at 2 or 3 a while ago. I only printed out 1, but Liberty is in there, so it's going to be interesting to see. And the Liberty
that's just because of their record. It's not because of who they play.
Exactly.
And I'm surprised the AP has not revised its top 25. Florida State is still ranked 10th.
Yeah.
So here's my question. Where do you think this shakes out? Because Georgia Tech isn't in the 10 team. So you have a 10 team play an unranked team and lose.
Still early, and people are still. That's the downside of all of this. You can say what you want to say, and all these people by doing all this stuff, but they still have opinions. And I think your personal beliefs probably sway your thinking. That's why I think guys like Saban, Coach Saban, and coaches like that probably should be on that selection committee.
Maybe. I don't know. He's too close to the program, I think, Bill, to be objective in it.
I don't know. I think he would be. I think there's a lot of coaches that be pretty objective. I don't think you should. Yeah. Bobby Bowden say I think guys like that would be very objective. And they bring more to think. That's what I like about Saban being on game day. I think he's going to bring more realistic approach to it. of what he's talking about. He's talking about the game itself rather than what people feel. What do you think about Sheamus being on game day? Sheamus, how you pronounce his name?
Yeah, he's the only one that killed that game correctly.
Yeah, he called
He,
Georgia
he
Tech.
was the only one that picked Georgia Tech. I
Yeah.
didn't know who the heck Sheamus was, but
Oh,
he seemed to be knowledgeable enough.
yeah. So, but yeah, I've seen him wrestle. He's all right. I like wrestling, but I
These
understand
people call it wrestling. They don't call it wrestling.
they know where you're from. Your grandpa said wrestling.
Okay. So,
See,
this
see,
one
that's one of the
page,
things I miss about you and him. You never got a chance to go to a wrestling match with him. You would have had fun. You would have enjoyed that.
with your dad.
Oh yeah.
So this one webpage called Fansided, they're thinking Florida State's going to fall all the way to 9th. Fansided has Georgia State, Oregon, Texas, Alabama at 5th, Ole Miss at 6th, Notre Dame 7, Penn State 8, Michigan 9, Missouri 2. And the last 10, Utah, LSU, Clemson, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, Miami, Florida State, Texas A&M.
Well, we're gonna find out this weekend what A&M made out of too. They're playing Notre Dame.
Think they?
Yeah. Yeah, they play Notre Dame this weekend.
Yeah. So week 1, we have Western Carolina, NC State, Lindenwood against Kansas, Murray State, Missouri, Southern Utah, Temple at Oklahoma, Clemson, Georgia.
It's gonna be a good game.
Coming right out the gate.
Yeah.
Penn State, West Virginia. I think that's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good test for Penn State.
And what's his name was predicting West Virginia to do?
Yeah, he was. Then you got Illinois State against Iowa, Chattanooga against Tennessee, South Dakota State, Oklahoma State, Colorado State, Texas, Akron, Ohio State, Miami, and Florida. Ooh, it's going to be a good game, too.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see what your coach,
Billy Napier.
Napier. We're going to see what Billy Napier's got. UT Martin, Kansas at Kansas State, Western Kentucky Hilltoppers at Alabama, Furman at Ole Miss, Notre Dame, and that's the third game I'm going to watch.
That's going to be a game. I'm looking forward to that one.
But you know what? They're going to have to bounce back and forth between the USC and LSU game.
Yeah. That's going to be another good game, too. Not a lot of talk about LSU this year, but don't count them out.
Well, yeah, so many other teams are kind of like stealing their thunder, and Saban was very effusive in his comments towards LSU. What did he say? You shake a tree and excellent ball players fall.
Yeah,
that was a fertile recruiting ground. I will say that.
I'm ready for some football. And it's going to be good. We saw, Thursday night? We got some games Thursday. Then we got Friday. I think Friday. I can't remember about Friday. I know we got Saturday. We got Sunday. And we got one, I think, Monday, right? Labor Day.
So Thursday, Western Carolina, NC State at 6, Lindenwood in Kansas at 7, Murray State in Missouri at 7, Southern Utah is at 8, Temple, Oklahoma is on Friday. That's the only Friday game.
Yeah,
the rest are Saturday.
I'm looking forward to watching that game. I don't.
The Oklahoma game?
The Oklahoma Temple game. I'm more interested to see what Oklahoma's got.
Yeah, you want to see what they got in the tank.
Yeah. Of course, you know they're not going to show you a whole lot. But Temple, see, that's the downside or upside, depending on your point of view. Everybody's talking about, well, they won't have a problem with Temple, but you know what? The boys from Temple don't believe that stuff. They're going to come in
just
and
ask
play.
Michigan about Appalachian State.
Exactly. So it's going to be good.
Hey, but, it's Baylor about UTSA.
You know what? Baylor better watch out. All right. I think UTSA is going to be like Alabama this year. They lost a lot of players. They lost a quarterback. But they got that big tight end coming back. And I think the quarterbacks that were back up last year did a pretty good job. I think the defense is going to be pretty strong. I just love Jeff Traylor. I think he is just a phenomenal coach. And from the point of view that I think the players buy into him and he buys into the players. And when you have that kind of relationship, they can be hard to beat. And I feel the same way about Texas State. The coach they got there, they lost their quarterback. But I think Texas State's going to be good. I think that's going to be a heck of a ball game when UTSA Texas.
I agree.
Yeah. Well,
unfortunately, Saturday, all those good games at night. We have a 6 o'clock game, the Notre Dame game. So we're at 6. Notre Dame A&M is at 6:30, and the LSU game is at 6:30.
Yeah.
So we're not going to be able to watch those 2 games.
Well, there's only one I'll watch, and I just get the scores and stuff from ESPN off my phone. I just bring up that app, and I can check the scores and stuff, and you switch back and forth on commercials and see what happens.
The next week against South Florida, that's another night game, 6 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get an afternoon game until Wisconsin.
And that's an early game, right? Like 1 o'clock.
11, yeah.
11
and then
o'clock.
we go back to a 6:30 game again. So maybe we can get together for the Wisconsin game.
That sounds good. I think that's going to be a good game. I think that's the game for us that we're going to find out what we're made of.
Yeah, it's going to be a good test because we roll right into Georgia.
I think Wisconsin is like a lot of those teams that they're good 7-3, 7-4, 8-3 type things. They don't always get the recognition, and they probably don't always recruit the best players, but I think they're pretty consistent.
Yeah, they're slightly better than middle of the road in the Big Ten.
Yeah. So if we go in, I think we're playing them at home.
We play them on the road.
Now we're playing them in Wisconsin.
Yeah, we're playing them up at Camp Randall.
Yeah. So when I go in there thinking you got it, because them boys will show up. And once you get behind, and see that, I think that's what happened with Georgia Tech and Florida State. They played from behind a lot of that ball game. And it's hard to play catch up. On the other side, don't want you to play catch up. Yeah. So it's fun. I'm ready for it.
Well, let me see where we're at here. We are at 26 minutes.
Well, before we
You
go,
got anything to wrap up?
I'm going to just give a shout out for all those families in that Afghan withdrawal, those 13 who gave it all in their families. Just say a little prayer for them and keep them in your heart. You know, that's a sad day for those families. So,
this is what, the 3rd anniversary?
3rd anniversary, yeah. So we need to keep them in our hearts and prayers. I got one more thing for you. I got a list here of the greatest generals.
Greatest what?
Greatest generals. And military generals, okay?
The greatest generals?
Uh-huh. George Washington, Andrew Jackson, Grant, Sherman, Sheridan, Lee, Blackjack Pershing, Douglas MacArthur, George Marshall, Dwight Eisenhower, Patton, and Bradley. Those I don't disagree with. What do you think about Ryan Ridgway? I don't disagree with Ridgway, but Schwarzkopf and Westmoreland. What do you think about those two? I would agree with that too. How about Schwarzkopf? Yeah, me too. I think there's some others. I didn't read all the articles, stuff like that, but I just came across that there.
George Marshall. Yeah. Who was?
Yeah.
We take Marshall.
But I thought Matthew Ridgway was a good general in Korea.
I just don't decisive he was.
Ridgway?
Yeah, absolutely. MacArthur definitely made a lot of headway. The army was just about annihilated, and he came up with a plan to land at Incheon and draw the Chinese and North Koreans away. I think it was kind of sweet to be risky.
The rest of them I pretty much agree with. I thought Blackjack Pershing, MacArthur, Marshall. Marshall, you don't hear a lot of talk about it, but he was a very brilliant person. He and Eisenhower, I thought, made a heck of a team in World War II.
Since you mentioned Blackjack Pershing, I'm going to give you some names of future generals who served under Blackjack Pershing. George C. Murphy, Dwight Eisenhower, Omar Bradley, and Leslie McNair, George Patton, and Douglas MacArthur all served in World War I under Blackjack Pershing.
He was a general's general, as we used to say. He's a soldier's soldier.
And he was given the rank of General of the Armies.
Yeah.
It is the highest military rank in the United States.
Yeah.
And only one other person has been named General of the Armies. And it was General Washington.
Right.
So this grade can be equated to a 6-star general because the General of the Army is a 5-star, but there is no 6-star designation. And from what I had read, the military and whatnot wanted to give him the rank of field marshal, like our European brothers and sisters, but they did not want that rank at the same time because it had too much tie into the Germans. So that's when they came up with General of the Army, because he already was General.
I just saw that little article. I thought it was kind of interesting when I looked at it. And Sherman and Sheridan, Lee and Grant, all in that area back in that time in the warfare and stuff like that. And so it was interesting. I like to read about that kind of stuff. But anyway, you're right. We're at 31, so we're going to probably call it a day. And, I will give a shout out to your two cousins and find out when we get them on board here.
Yeah, we can try next weekend, I think.
I'll reach out to them, find out what. I'm sure Sunday's going to be the best day for them. So.
Yeah, and then it's football on Saturday.
Yeah, then. So that'd be interesting. Okay.
Right.
Have a good one. Stay safe, and we got 40% chance of rain passing through this area, so I'm gonna go take a peek in a minute. Hope we got a little sprinkle or two.
All right.
All right.
You take care, Dad.
Take care.
All right. Take care, everybody. Y'all be safe.
All right. Love you guys.
Love you too. Love you. Love everybody.